You know what? I decided to do both. I want to share what I'm thinking, and I want to practice what I preach at the same time. So, the cats need feeding. Apollo did just agree to sacrifice one of his daughters for a fish for the cause. Okay, so, and when cooking for cats, you don't really have to be, so perfect. Let me show you a beautiful view. This, this my view. If I show so, please. Oh yeah. So what I want to say is, willful. Okay, it's superstars that I don't know who they are. Right? It's superstars that you don't know who they are. There's people who are like, like if I say Fred Astaire, you know, people say, who is Fred Astaire? You know, uh, if you say Lucy, people might say, who is Lucy? George Burns, who is that? Carol Burnett, who is that? Uh, uh, so many people. We would be like, who is that? I don't know who that is. Um, that's okay. But the whole thing is, we see all these people, like, we choose not to include them because in our programming, which we do help program ourselves, of course, but we are our mind is put into a program. The program has to do with one, pretending that you are not a god. No, you can't get what you want. No, you haven't worked yet. I haven't worked hard enough yet. We don't have enough. That's the first programming you get. Because as a young God, you see everything here. You don't see any price tags, and you don't see any barcodes, and you don't see any of that. You see it's here. And that has to be taken from you and put, a dollar sign has to be put in front of that. So at that point, we are taught to believe that there is no abundance, that the paradise that we live in actually costs something, and it doesn't. Everything, everything here is free. We don't know that because we've been brainwashed and colonized and taken over. People say, well, they made our lives better because that's what they made your life worse before they made it better. That's what you don't understand. It's sort of like if you find out that the people who adopted you is the same one who who had you taken away from your parents. It's like they're not the people you think they are. And on the outside, if you say, okay, yes, and I'm so happy that God has blessed me to be in so many different situations. Like, really, I've been in so, it's like I've taken a crash course. It's amazing. And it's amazing once you realize that it was a crash course. Now, once you look at it and you say, oh my God, have to live like that. Like, your life has to be so full of like so much from just a young age. And it was so funny because I used to talk to my manager, who was an awesome manager. He used to help everybody. And you can go into his office and tell him your problems. And like, we would be getting written up for by our manager, whether he was our manager or not. Sometimes he had to write us up or whatever, but um, he would tell us from a loving point of view. And his name is Victor Cromedy. He would tell us from a loving point of view, from a mentor point of view, how to be, how to still be, successful, go ahead and make our sales. But yeah, maybe we need to focus on this. If you're having car trouble, maybe you need to do this. If you're whatever the issue is, if your spouse is threatening to leave, maybe you need to do this, that type of thing. He was that type of person, and everybody came to him. He was uh, just a good guy. Okay, so I used to come to him when I'm getting in trouble with the not my making my sales or not being at a meeting or something like that. So, but I'm being a single mother of 4 children plus. So I had more than the average insurance agent issues. The people I was, who were my colleagues, had spouses. A lot of them had no children. Um, they were the men, and they had the women home to take care of their other parts of their business, like laundry and cooking, and their children, and bathing their children and stuff like that. Not that I by that time I didn't have to bathe my children, but I was in a different situation from most of my peers. So the stories I would tell him, he would be like, "Oh my God!" And he's a black man, and he's like, "Oh my God, you just say it so regularly, like that's just like normal. Like that's not normal." I'm like, and I would just, I might say something about anything, my childhood or something, and he'd be like, "Oh my, that's not normal." You know, he's like, "Oh my goodness, this is," and I'm just so happy-go-lucky, this happy-go-lucky person, because I overcame everything, and I know that you can't overcome everything. Like, it's your choice. We It's a hard choice to stop and say yes. Sometimes we we had to play the victim part, unfortunately, but we overcame because we're still here. So what we do with being here is up to us, which is a powerful thing. You can choose to let certain situations mold you in a way that you become evil, or you can let certain situations mold you in a way that you become a protector. And we can, instead of saying, okay, I was a victim of that, now we need to be protecting people from that, protecting children from that, protecting, bringing awareness to it. Sometimes parents are abusive without even knowing they're abusive, just because they fight in front of their kids. When you're a little kid, that's a big deal. It's not like what you think it is. Oh yes, this is a big fight, but to a little kid, a big fight is devastating. It's very scary. It's very scary. A big fight between the people I love the most. That's very scary. But we lose our awareness of how that felt. And then we do it. And then the kittens outside the window. So, okay, so when I say that we are bombarded with all this information, but our programming picks and choose what we hear and what we listen to. And so it's certain things we're programmed not to listen to. And you know what? I even caught myself like, because coming from this awareness, it's things that I keep missing. Like if I'm looking at a movie, I'll keep missing that thing. Like, and so I said, wait a minute, why don't, it's something I don't supposed to hear in that. Now, is that the fact that I don't supposed to hear it? Is it because God doesn't want me to hear it, or is it because I am programmed in some subconscious way to ignore that part of the movie? One time, this lady did an experiment, and she did it in our office. We were in a networking group, and the networking group was had all the different parts of, from insurance agents, which I was, to realtors, to just mortgage brokers, to everybody in there trying to bring clients to each other, through each other, through referrals and things like that. Okay, so I'm gonna turn that off. Now I gotta let that cool. They be looking at me like I'm crazy because they know I'm in here making them something, but they don't understand why it's taking so long, or why I continue to do what I do after I finish cooking. Like, it has to cool off. But they be watching me. Sometimes they hop up on the fence so they can look in. All type of stuff. I'm talking about the cat. Yes. Yeah, I'm talking to the recording. Okay, so So it's sort of like it's time to take control of your what you want to put in your own mind, what you want to listen to, what you like. For example, it's things that you say, you know what, I can't wait. One day I will go to this concert, this orchestra, to the theater, to wherever. And you, because you are a person who are in the ghetto, then you say that's one day. When the place really right down the street, it's up to you to know that there's other ways to receive going to the theater than you being some rich person that had to fight your way to the top to finally get into that theater, which is 1 mile really that way. If you open your ideas and your thoughts to a ghetto person can go to the theater. Yes, you can. If you put your mind on that and you say, I'm gonna go to the theater. I don't care how I'm gonna go to the theater. I'm gonna be open to it being gifted to me. I'm gonna be open to me winning the lotto. I'm gonna be open to and you hear I say to I'm gonna be open to um wherever, that I can experience something that's a mile down the street. Like, remove the dollar sign that is in front of everything. You've been tricked to think that a dollar sign is in front of everything. I have been too. I chased it too. So it's not any judgment. It's our part. It's what we have been programmed to do. We have been the greyhound that's been programmed to chase a rabbit in a race, and some of us catch that rabbit good enough to taste it to know its fate. And so once that happens, you can't get them to run no more for a rabbit that they know is fake. They retire. They're like, oh, now stardom. Stars are put on pedestals in this matrix in order to give you something that is possible to achieve in this matrix, something to thrive toward, to aspire to look at with awe and say, hey, me too. Because it is us too. We have those talents that we see on TV. We have the intelligence that you see on TV. We have the scientific mind, because that comes from human being a human. It's not from education. Scientific mind comes from being a human being, living, being a spiritual being, having a human experience. That's where your scientific mind comes from. You are the inventor. You are the creator of everything that you're seeing around here, one way or the other. The things that you do, actually, like I was looking at an agreement I had to sign before uploading one of my videos, and it basically said that I was giving them the right to use my materials and making plays and doing anything that they want to do with it. Now, I had to think about it, so I didn't upload any videos for a few days when I was like on a roll, like, okay, video, video, video. And then it's also Mercury retrograde, and people, they downplay those things because they don't understand that there is a correlation between us and everything else. We help make the waves. We are a part of that. It's like we are a part of how the wind is blowing. We are a part of that because we are doing things that channel and redirect things and cover things and uncover things. We're doing all of this, and that of course affects everything around it. We are doing this. Like, I talk about how we're filming these in the jungle type documentaries, and we're like, oh, see, these are how the animals act, and we are the animal with the camera. We just are the one with the camera, so no one's videotaping us really how we act. No other. Of course, if you know, I'm saying from the 3D point of view. From the 3D point of view, no one is videotaping us being the predator, because that's what we are. We are the ones who are capturing all the animals and putting them in factories and cutting them up while they living, and mutilating them and castrating them and doing all that for a burger, some bacon, and not just a burger and a bacon. It's a burger for everybody. People who don't even want a burger. If I choose to just go get a burger now, I can. Like, it's available so everybody can have a piece of that that tortured animal. That's how this system works. Is on slavery. It's on someone has to be the bottom. Someone has to be the loser. Someone has to be the one everybody else is standing on. And so a lot of we're by being in it, it's sort of like if you're in a chicken coop, you're a chicken, and you're in a chicken coop, and you're there to produce eggs, but you don't know you were just born in this chicken coop. You don't. Everybody's stepping on you in the chicken coop. You get in because it's all together, and people poking you with their beaks and poking you in your eye, and you it's no um, medicine for you. You have to be in the dark. You don't know what's wrong with you, but you know something is wrong. Your peers are having heart attacks. This is actually happening in chicken coops. Okay, your peers are having heart attacks and dropping dead, and the hand comes in, grab them, and just grab them, the dead chickens, and throw them. And you're in the dark. You're in the dark, and you're born in this darkness. Okay, they are keeping you at different times when they say, okay, well, these type of chickens need some sunlight, so we're gonna give them. But the ones we eat, we don't. They don't need no sunlight because we need them to grow big as possible. So keep them in the dark. Keep them in the dark. Okay, so the matrix we're living in right now is like that chicken coop, except we've been put in cage free now. So cage free is way better because you can walk around. Like you can walk around and no one has to poke you in your eye. It's like y'all can control the space enough around you, you and your peers enough to not have to poke each other. You can go over to where you want to go over to. You can hang out over here. You can talk to this chicken over there. You can see more of the daytime. You can get more exercise. You feel better. You can get some fresh air. Thank you. Thank you, God. My life has been improved for free range chickens. Thank you. Okay, so you're that chicken. So you're in the free range situation now. So, okay, so then there's chickens who been shown. Okay, yeah. In the free range situation, they also give you entertainment. So then you can be distracted from the fact that you are in a chicken situation. If you had nothing to do, if you were actually just really looking around, you might see what's going on, but you're not looking around. You're looking at a computer screen. And that's why a lot of times when I'm talking, you guys will see me look around like this because I need to be conscious of what's going on around me. You know what I'm saying? I need to also acknowledge the sun out there and the trees and the light and the house, the rooster, the mango. That's a part of the beauty of my life. Um, Acknowledge those things. That's how your life can be beautiful. It doesn't matter where you are. Your life can be beautiful. So imagine. So you're that chicken, and at one point you are shown a kid comes, a little boy who is actually one of the sons of the people who own the chicken plant. He comes and he picks you up and he takes you with him, and he's hiding you, in his jacket, and he gets you all the way to uh, the edge of town before they find out that he tucked you into his bag. So you're seeing things that you've never seen before. You found out that there's something outside of that chicken coop. Chicken Run is really it's trying to tell you the same thing. The movies they put them out in obscure genres so where only certain people will watch that movie. And so when we talk about the Matrix, so many people still haven't watched the Matrix because you've been programmed to avoid it. That's just basically it. You've been programmed to not watch the Matrix. I was programmed not to watch a lot of stuff, so I watch these things and I look at these movies that I would not because I was a Christian or whatever before, or because my values were so high that I wouldn't watch these things, and they were screaming the truth, but they're screaming it in a raunchy way or in a just ignorant a white person, uh, whatever redneck way or whatever it is, they're saying it in a way that I'm programmed to turn my ear away from. So it's like we have to like rise above that. It's time to go inside, really, and go inside and hear yourself. Everybody is telling you to do it. Take the time to do it. It is important. We are here to help you. Everybody who is telling you to go inside yourself, we're not asking you to give us no money. We are not asking you to do, whatever. We're not asking you to do anything. We're saying go inside yourself. If someone and so we have been taught specifically, like, oh, that's some weird. I pray. Like Christians been taught to say I pray, and it's like we need to trust that ourselves that God made is sufficient to tell us more of the truth than a TV, than a radio, than a phone, than anything, because that's what we're believing, these TV, computers, radios, and phones. That's where we're getting our information from. We're not seeing it with our own eyes. Most of the stuff that if you cut off the TV, radio, um, computer, phone, you will see that your life is pretty decent. If you just go by your nose wanting to breathe, you'll know when you should have a mask on. When you don't want to breathe right, that's when you should have a mask on. I'm going to. I see this is striking a nerve. Woo! Woo! So go inside yourself. Take the time. You're worth it. Something's wonderful is inside of you. Like something beautiful, something that allows you to see outside of this chicken coop. And to know that there's something better that you can aspire to. There is something outside of that. That you found out that there's chicken families in the forest roaming in groups of 30 and more. You found out that there's people who have chickens for pets and they love animals. You found out that there's uh people speaking on your behalf. You heard something. You felt the love of somebody trying to escape you. You know what I mean? So I'm saying all of this to say, it's a new day, and I'm not sure what I'm going to name this video, but let me go ahead. That should have cooled down. Let me go ahead and feed these cats. It's more I want to say, but I'm not going to put it all in one video. But I feel like if you a person who cares, who you understand that it's people who have been over the mountaintop. It's people who have seen over the mountaintop. It's people who actually know the higher way. It's people who have experienced flights as chickens. So the first way is to understand that you can. The only way you can do that in a chicken coop, if you're in a chicken coop and you're in a free range chicken coop, you can go so far. You can do this. You can talk to so many people. You can do whatever, whatever. And if and it looks like, when we come back and from seeing what we've seen, we act differently because we know there's a different option. You haven't seen another option. The only way being in that chicken coop that you can see another option is to go inside and connect to your source. Even you have one. You're going to have to get quiet. You're going to have to hear from inside yourself. Listen. And I know we've been taught that that sounds crazy. It's better to look at a computer screen than to look inside yourself and to be quiet and close your eyes and listen to your breath or your heartbeat. It's saying something. It is connected to everything here. It's life. It goes out into the trees and back to you. It knows things. It understands things. That's the only way. Your very blood has information in it from the ancient times. Your DNA is not mixed. Your DNA is strong and unpolluted. No matter who you are, you could be part this color and part that color. Your DNA is still in there, and it's going to always be in there. And the DNA from your parents and the great African and the great Chinese and the great European and all the people that we've divided up into lines and said that they are not quite human like you are. Their DNA is in you, and it's not mixed. It's just their DNA in there. That's why you can have a child with the same spouse and have another child with that same spouse, and they have different colors and different everything, just like a cat. The cat carries the DNA. So that mother, I saw her birth a orange and white cat, a black and white cat. I've seen her. I've seen all her. I mean, a lot of her kittens, and they're all in her, and she's black and with splotches of orange. So it's like that. It's in there. Her children can have black cats and white cats and everything else. It's all in there. Nobody's DNA is being lost. Nobody's being lost. Like, that's one huge thing. White people have been tricked to think that they're going to be a minority. No, your DNA stays. It's just like white horses. If you really don't have to do anything for white horses to come out, except they do come out, we then you say, oh, we got to match them to make them just keep coming out, keep coming out, keep coming out. No, you don't. If you leave them alone, white horses still will exist. Y'all still going to exist. We all still are going to exist. You can't, because our DNA is in there. It's going to come out, period. That's why people get in trouble, because they kid might come out with red hair or something, and they both black, not no red hair, and it looks like the lady done cheated. No, that's from your grand uncle, or I mean your granddaddy or whatever. Your great great granddaddy in there got has red hair, tribe, native, whatever. So it comes out. No one's lost. No DNA is lost. It's in us. We carry the DNA, and it's pure. So either way, um, I think that's good enough I think that's good enough for now.